All this offseason, we're pretty much going to be talking about trades and, new acquisitions and things of that nature for every team, specifically the Clippers, because, of course, we know the Clippers are so close to possibly winning a championship. Health is just not on their side, and luck just must not be on their side either, which is the reason why they might not have been able to make that happen just as of yet. But either way, one interesting trade proposal that I think that really, makes an interesting case or interesting story is what I would say between the Clippers and the Bulls. Now, we know for a fact that the Clippers are willing to do whatever it takes to put a team around Kawhi and PG in order for them to be successful and possibly win a championship. Now, the trade names that have been out there for the most part of the last several days, you've heard me say Norman Powell. And before that, I know one name you heard me say that a lot of you might agree that one person on the team that really needs to be traded or should have been traded was Marcus Morris. Now, in regards to the Bulls and the Clippers trade possibility or, possibility of this acquisition would be Norman Powell and Marcus Morris for Zach LaVine. Now, I know you might be thinking that's one of those trades that is unlikely, but honestly, it does have it has some likeliness to it, because when you think about it, Zach LaVine isn't the number one guy on the Bulls, which honestly, I personally think he should be. I'm not a DeMar DeRozan fan. DeMar DeRozan is not a championship caliber player. I don't think you can really build a team around him and go any further than what you can go if you had Zach LaVine as the number one guy. I just personally don't think that. But either way, Zach LaVine hasn't been happy with his stay with the Bulls over the last couple seasons. We heard a lot of rift and things like that, and a lot of fans and some of the organization are not exactly happy with Marcus Morris and some of his antics. Now, me personally, I think Norman Powell is a stretch. I would have rather them possibly, maybe added somebody like, even if Eric Gordon, even though they waived him and did some dumb shit like that, but added Eric Gordon with a Marcus Morris and to get somebody like a Zach LaVine. I still, to my knowledge, I kind of feel like that is a little much, but I mean, to me, I would probably go with that, simply because when you trade, if they possibly trade somebody like Norman Powell, you know how many points you're taking away from your bench? All great teams that win championships usually have a bench mob. Usually they have a pretty secure bench with guys that, can put up points and maintain leads, sustain leads, and sometimes extend leads. And Norman Powell is one of those 6 men that come off your bench that can drop 25, 30 by himself. I mean, really, a lot of people years ago looked at him coming out of UCLA as being a superstar in the NBA if he had the opportunity to be on a team that was really worth anything. But for the most part, his first several years, he really didn't have that opportunity. But regardless of that, he's still a very, very formidable scorer and a really, really good, role player for a team that's trying to win a championship, which is the reason why he's helped the team win a championship before with Kawhi Leonard on the Toronto Raptors. So my point is, trading a player like him, you really got to be cautious when you trade a player like him, because you need extra value back, because he can score like a number one guy on a team, but he plays the role of a 6 man. And if you add Marcus Morris, somebody who still can play a little bit of defense and has his nights where he can go out there and score at a pretty decent level, that's a lot, that you're giving away if you think about totality wise, just to get one guy back in Zach LaVine, who you hope that would work out and be what you need him to be to win a championship, or to be a part of a team winning a championship. And I understand that, but it's an interesting take, because like I said, Zach LaVine to me has superstar power in him. He has superstardom in him, and he's a third. He would make the Clippers a big 3. He really would, because it's not like to me, with Zach LaVine, he can play off the ball really well, which is good, because Kawhi and PG like to play a lot of isolation, half-court basketball, and he would get a lot of cuts, backdoor cuts to the basket, a lot of lobs to the basket, and he would get a lot of free play in regards to one-on-one coverage, basically, with one guy covering them, because Kawhi and PG would draw a lot of double teams while they're on the floor. And that would make Zach LaVine the odd man out to be, guarded by one defender, which would give him a lot of leeway and a lot of room to execute and play at a high level like he can. Because I personally think Zach LaVine could be a superstar in this league. I always thought that about him. But, if the Clippers were thinking about building a big three, he would be one of the main candidates I would look at in regards to this offseason of building a big three if they're able to pry him away from the Bulls. The Bulls are definitely not happy with Zach, vice versa. We all known about that the last couple seasons. So I think the Bulls would actually, be okay with, coming up off of like Zach, for not that steep of a price and maybe not that steep of, the value of the players that you can give them in return. So, and like I said, if it's somebody like possibly like, or could have been now that he's waived, but if it was like an Eric Gordon and a Marcus Morris, I think the Bulls would have went for that. You know what I'm saying? Or especially like if they decide to let go of Norman Powell, the Bulls would definitely go for that in Marcus Morris. I really think they would. The problem is the Clippers just gotta be precautious, but they also can't be scared to go after better talent. The one thing about the Clippers organization throughout the years and throughout their time, they've always had a lot of, good talent with them, but it just wasn't the talent that fit for them the most. I personally think that Zach LaVine would fit with Kawhi and PG very well because, like I said, he plays off the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. And like I said, we all know he's a high flyer, but we all know he can catch and shoot as well. His three-point shot has gotten better over the years. His jumper has gotten better over the years he's been in the NBA. He's not just a leaper and a dunker that a lot of people looked at him as when he was on the Timberwolves. So, his catch and shoot game is good. He can stretch the floor. He's got star quality, plays in him like a superstar. And like I said, he's definitely, you definitely could lob him the ball at any time. He definitely can go up and take flight. Flight 8 is his nickname. So, he would be the perfect, other wing guy they would have who can go out there, and Zach can give you 20, 25 points a night. You see what I'm talking about? So it's like, now, he might not be that great on the defensive end, but playing with Kawhi and PG, being around them in that environment, he'll learn to play defense a little bit better than what he does or what he can on the Chicago Bulls. So, I would definitely find that to be a very good package, to fit with him. I think he would fit with the Clippers a lot more than I think DeMar DeRozan would, even though DeMar DeRozan was speculated to be on the Clippers' radar as well. But I personally think Zach LaVine is a better fit. I think he can shoot three-pointers better. He stretches the floor better. And like I said, DeMar DeRozan, when you think about him, he plays the exact same style or somewhat of the same style like Kawhi Leonard does, mid-range, doesn't really shoot that many threes. You see what I'm talking about? So his game is more like somebody the Clippers already have. He's like a poor man's version of a Kawhi Leonard. So if his game is mimic of Kawhi, you already have Kawhi on the team. You don't need another player just like him. You want to add something different, something that gives you a little bit more uniqueness, but gives you effectiveness. And I think Zach playing with Kawhi and PG would make him an even better player. And hell, if they went to the finals, Zach LaVine is good enough to be a finals MVP. He's actually talented enough to go out there and put up points and affect the game in that way to be looked at as a candidate if they made it that far. So to me, they would have a big three if they had him. And honestly, I think the Clippers really should look into that because I would like to see Zach LaVine with, Kawhi and PG because I think they would really love to have him there with somebody who they can put the ball in his hands. He can go out there and make his own. He's not like one of those catch and shoot guys or something like that. He can go out there and make things happen on his own without any supervision or without any micromanaging, sort of say. So it's like that's always a good fit to have somebody like that. And I definitely think the Clippers, should look into that. I really think they should. Now, will they? I don't know if they will. Neither do you. But the Clippers got to start making some moves and making some drastic ones. And because if they're going to waive players and cut players to save money and luxury tax and all this other BS, well, start bringing some real star power in there. You got Kawhi and PG, but bring in a third guy. You see these other teams got big threes and every other team's going after a big three and stuff like that. So, So the Clippers should be able to go after, a big three or something like that. The Clippers need to start putting their foot forward instead of sitting there watching everybody else win championships. Instead of sitting there, we got Kawhi and PG. Yeah, well, maybe the reason why Kawhi and PG gets hurt so much is because, you're not building a super team for them. It seems like everybody else has a super team or has experienced something close to that. And the Clippers are the only team that seems like they haven't built a big three. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it takes to win a championship, I don't care. That's what you need to do. If Kawhi and PG can't stay healthy like that, go get a third star. Go get a third star, superstar type player put on this team to take pressure off them offensively so they can rest their knees and they'll be ready to go in the playoffs. Because when I look at how Denver did Jamal Murray after his ACL, Jamal Murray's knee didn't even bother him. It didn't even, and I can't compare Jamal Murray to Kawhi because there's no comparison. Kawhi is a way better player to me, but not even on a better player part. It's just, I can't compare them because their body is different. They're two different men. But at the same time, I feel like the Denver Nuggets did exactly right by Jamal Murray. They didn't rush him back. They didn't need him. They didn't need to rush him back. The team played very well without, Jamal Murray's services, even though they would have loved to have him the whole time throughout the season. But there were games where he came off the bench. There were games where he didn't start. Games that he did start. There was games that he kind of, took a day or two off, a night or two off. They kind of worked him back into, playing shape and everything. And it just all worked out. You see what I'm saying? So the Clippers got to figure out a way. If you see Kawhi is getting hurt with his knee, well, don't just have two superstars on the team. Go add a third damn guy so Kawhi can take a little break because you really want him ready for the playoffs. And you don't want to hear things like Kawhi's camp saying, they pushed me back early because, they rushed me to come back early because they was in a rut and they couldn't even win some damn regular season games without me. And we supposed to have the deepest team in the NBA and they need Kawhi to come back because they losing against teams that they should be beating because nobody knows why. And see, that's the problem. When a team isn't put together the way it's supposed to and it's not ran the way it's supposed to, it doesn't matter how much talent you got on there. You got to have everything in the right place. The chemistry got to be there. And I understand that, Kawhi and PG hasn't built the best of chemistry, but at the same time, maybe they need that third superstar on the Clippers. Maybe that's what it's going to take, a big three for them to get that championship. It's okay if that's what it takes. Steve Ballmer has the money to go purchase a third guy, a third superstar on this team. So since he has the money, since they're saving and waiving players, to save their luxury tax and all these other things, hopefully they're going to take that money and get another player, not build or add on to the Intuit Dome, in which doesn't mean anything about how nice the dome is if there's no championship banners up there. So let's just see what they do. But I'm really getting frustrated with a lot of the front office and a lot of the decisions that they're making or the non-decisions that they're making. So hopefully, going forward, they start making better decisions. Hopefully they can maybe reel in somebody like a Zach LaVine or better, because really it's all about winning championships at this point. It's nothing else for them to do except win a championship. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what the MO is. That's the goal. That's the drive, and that's the plan. So, the Clippers need to find a way to execute it, no matter how they execute it. But definitely I'd like to see Zach LaVine with the Clippers. That would be really good. Get him away from, Chicago, put him in L.A., where a lot of his family is from, I believe, and stuff like that. And I think he'll thrive in that situation. I think Kawhi and PG would enjoy him as well. But hey, leave any comments in the comment section as always, and we'll talk about it.